Yes, thank you. And it's back to school season, which means everybody's going back to school. And we wanted to talk with somebody about the Safe Schools Endeavor. We're here with Erica Flint, the chair of the Safe Schools Endeavor. Erica, welcome to the studio. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much.
And getting the ball rolling right off the bat, what is the Safe Schools Endeavor?
Sure. So back in 2018, when the Parkland, Florida school shooting happened, I think it caught this country's attention like ones prior. But different to past ones, I was at a place in my life where I really wanted to do something more than just send a donation somewhere or keep talking about it. I wanted to see if we could make an impact right here in our community. So I contacted the Northern New York Community Foundation, a phenomenal partner who has helped make this all possible. And my husband and I started a fund there. We were able to get some other committee members to come on board. Parkland, Florida shooting happened in February. By March, we had a committee of 10 to 15 local people from Jefferson and Lewis counties. We also had the Community Foundation support to give us a $20,000 matching opportunity, and we were able to raise funds so that our schools could do projects and programs to help make them the safest school possible.
And it certainly is going a long way so far. And I want to know, why is it you do what you do? What's the why for you?
Yeah, so kind of back to Parkland, if you take it even further back in 1999 when Columbine happened, I was a senior in high school. It was an isolated, in my experience, I thought it hadn't happened before, wouldn't happen again. And so I sort of just let it go. And then when Sandy Hook happened, I had young children of my own, and certainly again was upset, as the whole nation was, couldn't believe we were still talking about it. But like a lot of things, time passed and it sort of moved to the back of my mind. And then when Parkland happened, again, I said enough was enough. And while I may not be able to do something on a national level, I could take responsibility right here. And I think more than that, it wasn't just doing something, but it was sending a message to our schools that this is not their burden alone, that we all as community members have a responsibility to be part of the solution. And so that's really the why. And I think that if you talk to other committee members, you'll hear very similar reasoning as well.
And now I'm curious, what are some of those solutions that you're implementing in the schools? It mentioned that there are 13 projects going on in 12 different schools across the Jefferson and Lewis County area. Talk to me about some of those projects.
Yeah, so those projects were for the 23-24 school year. But since 2018, we have sponsored over 50 projects. We've awarded over $100,000 to our local schools. These projects are really in a few different buckets. Some are preventative. So those are maybe anti-bullying programs, rooms within schools for both elementary or high school where students can talk to a counselor, sort of get away, take a timeout type space, de-escalation. And then we have different trainings. So those trainings have been for teachers for trauma-informed teaching at Copenhagen. Other schools have done things like Stop the Bleed training. Several of our local schools have done those where in the event, if there was a true tragedy, they would be not only trained but have some supplies if necessary. And then there's been a lot of changes to the buildings like security cameras. We have a couple districts who put in for their entryway, like glass resistance to any type of bullet penetration, door stops. We've had a school that has done studies or has read studies that just having a door stop, a shooter will only try for so long and then they'll move on to the next classroom. So these door stops literally save countless lives. So those have ranged from preventive to things that, heaven forbid, tragedy actually strikes, like Stop the Bleed or having radios across the building, that folks would have the tools they needed in the event of that. I would highlight too, Indian River School this past year also added a therapy dog with funding that we have. So again, a preventive thing, something that helps with the culture within the building and making sure students are supported and taken care of.
And I think that's huge for this day and age when, like you mentioned, school shootings are so high on the rise.
Right.
Like, growing up, I couldn't even think of something like that when I was going to elementary school.
Right.
I want to know a little bit about, talk to me about some of the donors for these projects.
Yeah.
I think hearing about the community making such a huge making such a huge impact on the community, it's great to hear that the community is giving back and helping make a change.
Absolutely. So yeah, when I started in 2018, a small group of us, the first donors were really just banking on a vision. You know, they really didn't, we hadn't actually put out an RFP to schools, we hadn't funded any projects, and you know, we have those same donors as well as more that have come on board that have given annually. So some of our largest donors are some of our bigger banks like Watertown Savings Bank, Community Bank, Carthage Savings and Loan, Northern, Federal has given. We have other donors like West Telecom and Renzies, and I know it's always a little bit of when you start to name names, you don't want to leave any off. They're all shared on our Facebook page. But we also have tons of just individuals, donations as small as $5, $25. But what you'll see is the vast majority of them give every single year, because every single year we do a new RFP process for our schools and we fund more projects every single year. And so many of them are repeat donors. Once they've started to give, it's something that they work into their annual budget. We also have many of our schools that will do casual for a cause or a bake sale, just a way to give back because they themselves know the impact that these projects can give and the difference they can make. And what's great is these projects can be requested from superintendents or principals, but they can be from teachers or students as long as the district is in support. And so it allows for those different ideas and voices that maybe aren't always part of the traditional planning within a school.
Well, there's one thing, where can people go to learn more about the Safe Schools endeavor and what they can do to get involved with this project?
Yeah, certainly. So we do have a Facebook page. It's simply Safe Schools Endeavor. Within that, we share links regularly to how anyone can donate, but you can go to the Northern New York Community Foundation and make a donation through there, designating it Safe Schools Endeavor, and they'll make sure it gets to the right fund. But that's our main way. We are grassroots. We are 100% volunteer. The money that we raise goes to the schools. I tell people, us as volunteers, we buy the stamps and the thank you cards. We do the baking for the bake sales. We are as grassroots as you get. But that means that when you give us a dime, a dollar, $10, it 100% goes to the cause that you care about.
And I think my last question that I want to go on to is, what's something that you could say to, I guess, make parents who are feeling nervous about sending their kid to school for the first time? What's something you would say to make them feel more comforted?
In Jefferson and Lewis County schools, I will tell you, your administrations care. From the applications we see, from the conversations we have, from the work they do, many are parents and grandparents themselves. They're as vested in your child's well-being as you yourself could be. It is not a perfect world, and they are up against some challenging odds, but they're committed. I think that our education system in these couple counties are fantastic, and I'm very happy that my boys are part of a system here.
Well, Erica, we appreciate your time. Thank you for coming to WPBS to talk about this. Folks at home, you know where to go, you know what to do, and we appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thanks for the opportunity.